get started on how to put it together. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. Let's open up your kit and pull out all of your goodies. So you should have some pictures of each of the pages completed. We'll set your clip art aside, all of your papers aside. All right, so let's get started on creating the base of the album. In your kit, you would have received 3 of these that are pre-scored. You can see I've already started one fold here. So let's finish folding them all over on the fold lines. I like to use a bone folder to make sure that they're nice and crisp. And you're going to fold everything in so that it creates a sandwich like this. Here is our second. I use the Teflon Bone Folder by Tonic because it doesn't leave marks on my paper the way other bone folders do. So there is our second, and let's do our third. Your shorter panel goes in on the inside. All right, so these are our 3 panels. Just double check them to be sure that your spine is on the left and your shorter is on the inside of each of them. Beautiful. Now what we're going to do is I use the Nuvo Deluxe adhesive. We're going to pick up our first panel, flip it over, and put adhesive along the outer edge. What's nice about this is you don't need a lot, and you don't want to go too close because you don't want it to ooze out. We'll flip it back over and just stack them together. Most important part of this is making sure that your seams line up nicely, just like that. Give it a nice fold, make sure everything is down nicely. Pop it back up. So now we have our last panel. We'll put the glue on it. A little in the middle. Lay it down. And again, just making sure that everything is nicely lined up on the spine. Just like that. And that is all that it takes to put the album portion together. And that is the hardest part about this album, so I'm going to set that aside. All right, so let's grab our papers. The way the book is built is everything is already pre-sized for you. You don't have to measure anything except for your mats. You can either cut these apart with a paper trimmer or scissors. I tend to just come in with my Tim Holtz extra long scissors by Tonic. Love these. Oh, look, I even have a Tonic magnet attached to it in case I need it for some reason. So all you're going to do is take your scissors or your paper trimmer and just cut right down the line. Typically what I do when I sit down to put one of these albums together is I cut everything apart first, set them aside in their stacks, and then ink them before I put my album together. Inking is definitely optional. What I like about inking is that it gives it a finished look. So let me show you how to ink. I'm using Versacolor Umber. It's a brown. It's not a real dark brown. And I'm just going to rub it along the edge. And hopefully you can see how it just gives that shadowing effect on the edge. You could do this with a dark brown, a lighter brown, any brown will do. And I like to come back around my corners. And all I'm doing here is I'm trying to give it a bit of a shadow. So when it is on the book, it doesn't look one-dimensional. You see that? Or is it this way? So you want to finish cutting apart all of your pages. Ink them if you want. So here is your cover. You're just gonna, again, use your glue to glue your cover on. Now for your sentiment on the front, I'll show you that in just a minute. Glue down your center piece and your back piece. All right, so in your bag of goodies, you have several white pieces of your shed as well as the colored piece. What I do is I glue all of these pieces together one at a time and then put this on top of it so that you get depth without using foam squares. The reason I do this on my cover is that I don't want these edges to get torn up as it's sitting around and people looking at it. So go ahead and glue all these together and then glue it down right here. Let me move my pages aside and I'll show you the inside of the book and give you some tips as we go through it. All right, so these mats, the green is 4x4, the white is 3 3/4 by 3 3/4. I did put foam squares behind my corn, but when you do it, don't remove the backing on the ones that overlap your picture frame so that you can still slip your picture in and then take off the foam. And then the same with your picket fence. This flap here, your green is 8 by 3.5, scored down the center, folded over, and then your scarecrow goes right on top. Your inside pieces are 3 3/4 by 3 1/4. Or really, you have enough white and green paper to make these any size that you want, because ideally you want it to look the best with whatever pictures you're going to put in the inside. So all of my clip art is popped up on foam squares. Here is a strip. It is only glued on the two sides. So if you wanted to slip something in here, you could. And then here are your bales of hay. Again, you can see I've inked all of the edges of my papers to give it that shadow effect. And I'll show you at the end how I did the ribbon. Again, this piece here is 8 by 3.5. So when I first made this, I made my autumn pumpkins piece too large, but I trimmed it down so you don't have this issue here. So ink your edges. Put down your pumpkin patch. Again, this mat is 4 by 4 for the green, and then your white is 3 3/4 by 3 3/4. This is 8 by 3.5. Your white pieces are 3 3/4 by 3 1/4. These are just glued on the two edges. And that's your book. Now for the ribbon, what I did is I opened my book to the middle panel, took the ribbon, wrapped it around, and just tied it in a bow right here. Now to keep my bow in place, I put some glue dots right in the center of that. And I also have a glue dot right here to hold that down. So if you have your bows where they just are a little unruly, use your glue dots to kind of stick them in place. You don't see it through the sheer ribbon. So that is how to put together this mini album. If you have any questions, I'm here to answer them for you. We have lots of new albums that are going to be coming out, and I do have a special going on now through the end of the year. All of my mini albums are on sale 30% off by using the code MINI30. That is MINI30 over on our website, and I will put the links there for you in the comments. So let me show you a sneak peek of one that I'm working on for Black Friday. Let me show you this one. This is one that I did for the Scrapbook Expo. They still have kits available for this out there. So this is one I'm working on, not that, which is a baby book. So I don't have a sample for this one yet, but it will be available soon. And then here is the girl version of it. So this is the clip art. My paper's all already inked. So these are all coming out. So to make it worth your while for the coupon of 30% off, I will be adding lots of new mini albums because they make excellent Christmas gifts. Make it very affordable. You can make it up, give it already decorated with pictures in it that you've taken, or you can give it to a friend that can assemble it themselves. I will be doing some more children geared ones because they're really easy to put together for all ages. So thank you for watching, and I hope to see you again soon.